Hi, this is Kristal Goelz, and I will be sharing with you my reflection on lesson plan number 3. The title for this lesson is, What is a Solar Eclipse? To prepare for this lesson, I first established content and language objectives for my students. As I have learned from experience and through assignments in this course, these objectives should be clearly displayed for and reviewed with students. Having both content and language objectives clearly established helps to focus me as a teacher and my students as learners. The objectives give us a plan and a goal. In my lesson, I clearly defined the content objective for all students. The student will be able to understand and explain the cause of a solar eclipse. The language objectives are varied depending on the level of the English language learner and the 4 skill areas of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. When planning a lesson, keeping a list of supplementary materials helps delivering the lesson to students and ensures that as a teacher, I am prepared for my students. In my lesson, you can see that I have listed the materials I will use, including links to videos. Building background is a crucial component in engaging learners. When creating lessons, it is important to help learners find connections with past learning as well as connections with personal and cultural experiences. To do this, I plan to show a video from the eclipse in 2017. Many students witnessed this and will be able to relate or share experiences with those who may not have seen it. This lesson connects to past learning as students would have just studied the lunar cycle and the relative positions of the moon, sun, and earth. An emphasis on vocabulary is critical for English learners. Understanding key vocabulary helps aid comprehension. In this lesson, I chose to emphasize key vocabulary by having students add these words to their personal dictionaries and their interactive notebooks, use images when introducing the new words, and adding the words to a word wall for students to reference during class. Repetition of all the words with demonstration of meaning is also beneficial. Comprehensible input makes a lesson accessible to a variety of students. To enhance understanding, I must adjust my speech to match students' proficiency levels and make sure I enunciate and speak slowly but naturally. It is also important to model what you want students to say before having them produce language. This is encompassed in the practice phase of this lesson plan, where I deliver information as students add to their interactive notebooks. Images and graphic organizers can also help make content understandable for students. Both of these aids are used in this lesson plan. If I were to implement this lesson, I would make sure to use repetition along with pointing out cognates to help students connect with and understand the material. I also incorporated hands-on activities in this lesson along with sentence starters. Scaffolding is evident in this lesson plan. I explain the concepts including vocabulary at the beginning of the lesson, followed by small group and partner activities. The explicit teaching at the beginning of the practice phase provides students with modeling and guided practice. I also provide students with graphic organizers and fill-in-the-blank notes that we complete together for this lesson. Scaffolding lends support to tasks that would be too difficult for learners to accomplish on their own. It is important as students progress that teachers adjust their scaffolding to meet students' current needs. Promoting critical thinking expands students' learning. After the model activity where students make observations, another video is shown of the 2017 eclipse. Students then work with a partner to describe what is happening. Thus, they must rely on key vocabulary and synthesize the information they have encountered in the day's activities. An example of a question that promotes higher order thinking skills comes toward the end of class when students are challenged to consider what an eclipse would look like if the moon were smaller than it is now. In this lesson, you can see a variety of strategies used to teach students about the solar eclipse. I designed the activities in this lesson plan to help students achieve the established content and language objectives, providing practice for reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Students will listen to information at the beginning of class and later as they discuss a solar eclipse with their classmates. These activities will help students be able to identify vocabulary pertaining to a solar eclipse with the support of their notes, the word wall, hands-on observation, and interaction with each other. After working with a model and watching a video, students will be able to describe a solar eclipse to a partner, thus practicing speaking. Toward the end of the lesson, students will listen to and read along with a passage explaining a solar eclipse. Students will be able to select keywords and answer questions and/or complete sentence frames depending on their proficiency level. For writing, students will label drawings, diagrams, and/or write complete sentences to demonstrate their understanding of key vocabulary and concepts presented in class. Although students do not directly use technology themselves in this lesson, technology is evident. The teacher would use an interactive screen, which could lend itself to student participation at the end of class, with volunteers manipulating vocabulary words on the screen. Additionally, videos are used to enhance the learning experience. In this lesson, there are a variety of opportunities for the teacher to interact with students and for students to interact with each other. At the beginning of the lesson, the notes and graphic organizer portion would be interactive, where the teacher would ask clarifying questions to help students connect to the content. Later, students work with small groups of 3 and later in groups of 2. Interaction helps students be able to try out new words and grammatical structures. Discussing concepts with peers allows students to learn from each other. As students work in groups, I would observe conversations and offer help, support, and correction as needed, thus providing another level of interaction between the teacher and student. At the end of the lesson, students watch a video to summarize the day's lesson. After viewing the video, the teacher would ask questions calling on both volunteers and students at random to review key and vocabulary and concepts. I would adjust my questioning to fit the student's proficiency level and provide appropriate scaffolding for those who need it. Formative assessment takes place throughout the lesson. By reviewing interactive notebooks and observing student conversations and activities, I can adjust the next day instruction and plan for reteaching or extension as appropriate. I have learned a lot about lesson planning throughout this course. When you have been teaching for a while, you know what goes into planning a good lesson, and this course helped me realize what I've been doing well and what I can do to improve instruction for my current and future students. Thanks for listening to my video.